Shakiriyya. The Shakiriyya were a regular cavalry regiment of the Abbasid Caliphate in the Samarra period in the 9th century. Probably of Khurasani and Iranian origin, they were rivals of the Turkish Guard, and played a major role in the court conflicts that marked the decade of the Anarchy at Samarra in the 860s. Origin. The term derives from the Persian shakir, household servant, later also with the meaning of bodyguard. The term appears in the Umayyad period, but exclusively for the native Iranian armed retinues of Transoxanian potentates, both Arabs and non-Arabs. The term vanishes from the sources after the Abbasid revolution, and reappears only in a letter by the Khurasani Iranian noble Tahir ibn Hussein to Caliph al-Ma'mun during civil war of the Fourth Fitna. It then appears as a distinct group in 839/840 in al-Tabari's history of the reign of al-Mu'tasim. By the reign of al-Wattik, but likely already during the reign of al-Mu'tasim, they had been formed into a distinct contingent or regiment of the regular army. In the sources, they usually appear along with the Jund, which in early times signified the free Arab warriors, as distinct from the Turkish corps of slave soldiers Mawali or Gilman created by al-Mu'tasim. They were administered by a special fiscal department, the Diwan al-Jund wa al-Shakiriyya. In the sources they only appear as cavalry and in small detachments of a few hundred, although the total force probably numbered a few thousand, but not likely more than 5,000. Unlike the Turks, who were concentrated around the Caliph in Samarra, the new capital established by al-Mu'tasim, the Shakiriyya were spread out. They had cantonments not only in Samarra, but also in the old capital Baghdad, in Raqqa in Upper Mesopotamia, along the road to Mecca, in Egypt, Fars, and possibly also at Azerbaijan. Ethnic composition and politics. Their ethnic composition is not discussed explicitly in the sources, but it appears that they were mostly of Khurasani Iranian origin, drawn from the troops that had fought for al-Ma'mun in the Fourth Fitna. In the list of cantonments of the regular regiments in Samarra, a number of Khurasani commanders Qawad and there follows a letter 1638 Makram B are mentioned as settled in the Jund and the Shakiriyya, and in the few occasions where Shakiri commanders are mentioned, their names denote a Khurasani origin. North. Kennedy suggested that these troops were raised by Tahir ibn Hussein for service in the West, and that the name was chosen as a sort of honorific, referring back to a heroic and chivalrous past. Kennedy also suggested that remnants of the pre-Civil War Abbasid army, the Bna Macron latitude B al-Dawla, may have been incorporated in the Jund and Shakiriyya. From their very origin, the Shakiriyya were rivals of the Turks for power and influence at court. On his accession, Caliph al-Mutawakkil paid them double the donative given to the Turks, as a deliberate move to court their favour and used them as a counterbalance to the latter. Likewise, the Shakiriyya appear to have been partisans of the Tahirid governors of Baghdad, the heirs of Tahir ibn Hussein, at least until the Abbasid civil war of 865–866. History. In 839/840, the governor of Yemen, Ja'far ibn Dinar al-Qayyat, attacked those of the Shakiriyya that were with him, causing the heir of al-Mu'tasim, who dismissed and briefly imprisoned him. At 844/845, when the Banu Sulaim Bedouin and the Hedges became restive, al-Wattik sent Ahmad ibn Jarir al-Tabari with 200 Shakiriyya to prevent them from entering Medina. As the rebellion continued, more troops under Bagha the Elder were dispatched, including Turks and Shakiriyya. Bagha defeated the tribes and suppressed the uprising. In 848/849, the Shakiriyya participated in repeated efforts of quelling the resistance of the rebel Muhammad ibn al-Bayth ibn Halbazan at Azerbaijan. Ibn al-Bayth had fortified himself with his followers in the city of Ma'and and withstood several Abbasid attacks until Bagha al-Shabir managed to turn many of his supporters away with letters of pardon and safe conduct to Amman. In the same year, many of the Shakiriyya escorted the prominent Turkish leader Itak when he went on the Hajj, but when the latter entered Baghdad on his return journey, the local Shakiriyya supported the moves of the Tahirid governor of Baghdad, Ishaq ibn Ibrahim al-Masabi, which led to Itak's arrest and death. 40 Shakiriyya horsemen participated along with 30 Turks and 30 Maghariba horsemen in the escort for the prisoner exchange with the Byzantines in early 856. The presence of Shakiriyya stationed in Egypt is mentioned by al-Tabari for 855/856, during the revolt of the Bucha people. When a disgruntled faction of the Turks murdered Caliph al-Mutawakkil in 861, the Jund and the Shakiriyya gathered before the public gate of the palace to protest. In the summer of 862, a contingent of Shakiriyya participated in the army of 10,000 men led by Wasif al-Turki against the Byzantine frontier region that resulted in the capture of Khurasani. On 9 June 862, 2 days after the accession of al-Mu'tasim, the group of 50 Shakiriyya, joined by Tabariya cavalry and other soldiers, as well as the hotheads and the rabble from the market, charged the escort of the Caliph, provided by the Khurasani and Maghariba regiment, starting victory to al-Mu'taz, the son of al-Mutawakkil, who had been forced to renounce his succession rights in April under pressure from the Turkish commanders. The riot was suppressed with heavy losses on both sides. On 26 March 863, amidst the emotional response of the Baghdadi populace over the news of the recent death in battle against the Byzantines of two of the most distinguished Muslim commanders, Umar al-Aqsa and Ali ibn Yahya al-Omani, the Jund and the Shakiriyya rioted in Baghdad, demanding their salaries. In 864/864, the Jund and the Shakiriyyan foes rioted against the governor, the Tahirid Abdullah ibn Ishaq ibn Ibrahim, and looted his residence. Abdullah barely escaped with his own life, while one of his guests was killed. During the siege of Baghdad in the civil war of 865-866, the Shakiriyya were among the most important defenders of Baghdad, and Caliph al-Muhsin against the Samarra forces, and Shakiriyya flocked to the city from outlying garrisons as far as Raqqa and Malatya to sustain the struggle. One of the Tahirids, al-Husayn ibn Ismail, was a commander of the Shakiriyya during the conflict. When the Tahirid governor of Baghdad, Muhammad ibn Abdullah ibn Ta'in, negotiated a settlement that ended the war with the recognition of the Samarra-based Caliph al-Mu'taz, the Shakiriyya felt betrayed, and rioted on 24 September 866 when their salaries fell in arrears. They managed to maintain their position in Baghdad after Muhammad's death in 867 until Sulayman ibn Abdullah ibn Tahir arrived from Khurasani in 869 with loyal troops of his own, led by a certain Muhammad ibn Os al-Balkhi. Their arrival and the demand that they now receive the proceeds of the Tahirid estates in Iraq triggered a clash between the forces of Ibn Oz and the Shakiriyya and the populace of Baghdad, who were led by junior members of the local Tahirid branch, al-Husayn ibn Ismail and a former Tahirid Mullah, al-Shah ibn Mikl. In the end, Ibn Oz and his men were expelled from the city and became brigands in the area of the Nahrawan Canal. During the brief reign of al-Mu'tadi, the Shakiriyya again opposed the Turks, bringing the Caliph to safety and clashing openly with the Turks after the death of one of their commanders, Attab ibn Attab. Following the rise of Caliph al-Mu'tamid and his brother al-Muwaffaq to power in 870, however, the Shakiriyya disappear from record as a distinct body. It is likely that, as part of al-Muwaffaq's deal with the Turks, the latter achieved a monopoly in the military, and all other groups, including the Shakiriyya, were disbanded. The men of the Shakiriyya may have been otherwise enrolled in the army after that, and it is certain that some of the figures associated with them remained in influential positions for some time. Al-Husayn ibn Ismail remained chief of police, letter 163 Imakron, letter 125 IB al-Shur, letter 160 in Baghdad at least until 884/885, and according to Kennedy it is possible that some of the old Shakiriyya soldiers served with them.